era of petroleum. We're very pleased to have you with us here tonight.
Can you hear me okay? This is work okay? There we go. Good. All right. So I'm delighted to be here at Union College, and my intention is to make a number of broad stroke points on the topic that's written up there. Hopefully stimulate your thinking and get you interested in these topics. And what I really look forward to myself is back and forth discussion afterwards, your questions, your comments, because I'm going to show you a bunch of slides, about 30 slides. Some of them are just pictures, but the intent is to try to get some discussion going. So the first point is that all of the expectations from all of the organizations that study energy assume that the demand for energy in the world is going to grow enormously by 50% over the next 25 years. This is measured in BTUs, British thermal units. A lot of the increase in demand, about 3/4 of it, coming from the developing countries of Asia, that is China, India, the Southeast Asian countries, South Korea, Taiwan, and so on. This is just an extraordinary increase in demand for energy. And this is going to satisfy that increase in demand, is going to require an increase in every form of energy that can be tapped into to supply all that extra oil, natural gas, coal, nuclear, hydropower, and renewables. And you can see that all of these are expected to grow in the years ahead to satisfy this enormous increase in global demand for energy. So the question is, first of all, is there going to be enough? And I'm just going to raise with you for a few minutes the reasons to doubt whether there will be an adequate amount of these basic fuels to meet the expectations, all of them. And one obstacle to increased oil is the notion of increased energy, is the notion of peak oil, that we are at or will soon be at a point in which the world's supply of petroleum will reach its maximum sustainable daily output as measured in million barrels a day, or in this case, billion barrels per year, and then go into irretrievable decline. And there's debate about this, to be sure, debate about when and if we're going to reach a peak in production. But I think there's growing consensus within the industry and energy professionals that a peak of sustainable production is inevitable and imminent. Whether it's this year, next year, 2015 is immaterial. We're going to reach that point. The world is now producing about 86 million barrels a day. In the past few months, I've spoken to two of the leading energy experts in the world. For example, Saad al-Husseini, the former head of production at Saudi Aramco, he thinks it might go up to 95 million barrels a day. Some experts say 100 million barrels a day. That's between now and 2015, and then start to decline. So I'm just putting this out there. We could have discussion about, you could ask me to come back to this if you want, whether this is accurate or not, but I don't care whether it's 2010 or 2015 or whatever. We're reaching a point where the world industry will not be able to increase the supply of oil. I'll come back to Saudi Arabia, but the principal source of new oil in all the predictions is Saudi Arabia. The world depends very heavily on Saudi Arabia for any increase in the future. U.S. presidents, one after the other, have gone there constantly to reassure the Saudi kings. The current one is King Abdullah. of U.S. support and the importance we place on continued good relations with Saudi Arabia. All this assumes that the royal family will stay in command, will continue to ensure stability. So far, Saudi Arabia has not seen the kind of protests that other countries around it have. There have been protests, as you can see in the bottom right. They've been pretty much suppressed by a heavy government presence. But nobody can say for sure that Saudi Arabia will not see the kind of upheavals that the other Middle Eastern countries have. I personally think that it's inevitable that sooner or later Saudi Arabia will see an uprising of some sort, some change, and I think that the likelihood that Saudi Arabia will be able to continue increasing its output is very dubious. But all these are points for discussion. What about natural gas? You've all heard of the shale gas revolution. A lot of that to come from gas supplies and shale formations in this part of the world, in New York State and Pennsylvania, through the technology of hydrofracking, where water is pumped into underground shale formations under high pressure with toxic chemicals to try to lubricate the holes to release the natural gas. Industry says this is safe. There's a growing evidence that there are risks involved in this process. My guess is that the risks will multiply as the number of drills increases and opposition to fracking will increase. So there will be more shale gas on the market for sure, but I personally question that the shale gas revolution will ever reach the extent that its advocates claim for it. Another issue to come back for discussion later. Coal, there is coal available still, but increasingly people oppose the use of coal, both because of its contribution to global warming and because the means of obtaining what's left of coal are increasingly destructive to the environment. The process in Appalachia of mountaintop clearing, as you see an image of that here, of blowing up the top of mountains in American Appalachian mountains, dumping the residue into the streams below, poisoning them, destroying communities. My guess is that there will be growing resistance to coal. What about nuclear power? We heard about a nuclear renaissance up until this year. Today's news pretty much puts the cap on that. I can't imagine after today we can hear much of that today. Well, it was yesterday announced in today's paper. Prime Minister Oil2a of Japan said that Japan is going to throw into the waste bin their plans to substantially increase reliance on nuclear power by building dozens of new reactors. They're going to have 0 new reactors. And I can't imagine that there will be a increase in nuclear, significant increase in nuclear power in the years ahead. So we have to have questions about the future availability now of oil, natural gas, coal, nuclear power. We all hope to see a lot more renewable energy, but the rate of investment at present is inadequate to supply us with the amounts we'll need. So my conclusion from all of this is a backdrop for what I want to talk about is America's oil predicament, is that we're in an era of what I call extreme energy, the era of extreme energy. And that is to say that the easy to obtain sources of energy, the cheap, affordable energy that has propelled the world economy from World War II until the present are gone. They are gone forever. They're never coming back. The whole economic model that sustained growth from 1945 to now is doomed. The energy that